Is there a reason our defensive line coach isn't being considered for jobs elsewhere? The dude can straight up produce talent. Well, I don't know. Look at Tom Sula. Sometimes position coaches, but I don't know. I mean, he's so good at what he does.
And I was gonna say, what if he's not interested in that? Because he seems to have a ton of fun. Like when we were at camp, when we were at the joint practices, dude, you can hear this man yelling from the other side of the side field. Like the two fields that they had in LA for those Chargers practices, all you could hear is one guy yelling like a maniac. That was Kris Kocurek getting his guys hyped. So maybe this is just something he loves to do. And maybe sometimes guys don't have those sort of aspirations. And, there's a lot of other trendy names, right? Right now, what everybody is trying to find as a head coach is their Shanahan, is their LaFleur, is their McVay. They're trying to find these young guns. That's why Brandon Staley got a job. They're always trying to find this young, new, hip thing. And Kris Kocurek doesn't really strike me as that type, right? Like that's another reason probably.
But the thing about him, I think he's pretty much universally regarded as the best defensive line coach in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised if he's making like $1 million a year as a position coach. So if you're making that much money to do a job you like what's the problem?
And if the defense doesn't play well, they're not going to come ask you to go to a press conference. They're going to talk to DeMeco Ryans.
Exactly. Fumbles scare me more than picks this week. Kittle, Aiyuk, Debo, Jimmy have all had times they put the ball on the turf. Thoughts?
No turnovers, none, and it can't happen in this game. Thank God that was an incomplete pass on that one to man.
That was very un-Kittle, man. Even though it didn't count, it was like, dude.
I would have just let that ball hit the ground. It didn't feel like that was going anywhere. It was only going to be bad things that were going to happen on that play. But I understand he's a competitor and he's going to run for every yard. I get that part. But yeah, man, I was just like, when he threw it, I was just like, let it go. And then when I finally started to hit the ground, I was like, thank God, because that would have been a killer, a fumble. But I'm not worried about the fumbles as much. I think that Alex Mack and Jimmy have gotten away from that. Like, they don't have that problem anymore where they just put it on the ground or anything like that. Again, clean game. You could probably get away with one turnover in this game. One. And whether that be an interception or a fumble, that's the only thing that you can really give up in this game because the Packers will make you pay. They are not Dallas.
Why does porn star Jimmy miss these wide open receivers? Yips. The one to Sherfield that was intercepted, he was throwing on the run. I mean, he's got to drag his back foot or anchor himself so that he doesn't miss wildly high or wildly low. I mean, there are techniques for this. I don't really see him practicing that very much. What'd you see on the miss to Aiyuk down the field?
It was a blaze out, and he was open, and he flattened the route just like he should have. That should have really put the game away, man. Like, shout out to Brandon Aiyuk.
What happened?
I don't know. I mean, they'll say it's the shoulder. That's fine, but that's a throw that sometimes gets missed even when it's warm in a dome. Like, it doesn't really, again, it didn't make me upset because you know what you're getting week to week from Jimmy Garoppolo. You're going to get one or two of those throws that you're just like, Jimmy, come on, man. Like, it was right there for you, dude. But it was a good blaze out. And Trevon Diggs, you getting cooked, my guy. What happened? Brandon Aiyuk was smoking your boots, man. That was bad.
He really was. You made Brandon Aiyuk look really good. Now, Aiyuk, I know we're not talking about Aiyuk right now. Maybe we should do a thing about him, but he had the rough start to the season, ended up having a really good year. Just wanted to point that out. He had not a phenomenal year, but he had an excellent year. Just want to point that out. Like, I remember the discourse on him 3 months ago was ridiculous. And we said that.
No, it was. And that's what's funny about it. And I think that's what a lot of fans are frustrated about. It's like, man, you held this man back for this many weeks. And then on the back end of the season, he still almost finished with 1,000 yards. How?
The difference between the first half of the season and the second half of the season is all based on how they use their personnel. I mean, in the second half of the season, they had Armstead inside full time. Second half of the season, they had Debo playing running back. They had Aiyuk getting targeted. I mean, really, the Niners put themselves in a hole in a lot of ways. But they figured it out. Hopefully, this hole that they built for themselves doesn't cost them ultimately.
Method to the madness. It still worked, and they're in the playoffs still. So